All right, so a lot of updates coming out regarding the Charlie Kirk shooting assassination that took place yesterday. We're hearing that the weapon has been recovered. There is video footage of the assassin going on top of the building, fleeing from the building, jumping off of the building, going into nearby neighborhoods, discarding the weapon. They're using Ring camera systems from the neighborhood to try to recover and identify who exactly this individual is. And I'm going to share with you the latest video footage and articles and the photos of the assassin that has now been released by the FBI. The FBI has released images of the person of interest. Let me go ahead and share with you the latest as of 11:40 a.m. Central Standard Time, September the 11th, 2025. And I'll let you know what has been confirmed and what has not been confirmed. I know that there's been a lot of news circulating around even while I'm live. People are giving me updates, but I will make sure that I will let you know whether it is confirmed or not confirmed information. So let's go ahead and take a look at what has been released here by the FBI, and then I'm going to play for you the video footage so that way you can see the latest coming out on this. Now it says the FBI has released images of the person of interest in the Charlie Kirk shooting, and you can see these images right here. They're saying these are from the building, and like I said, they actually said they have a lot more information. They're not going to be releasing it to the public at this time because they are trying to prioritize finding this individual. And they said that in addition to that, now I'm going to share with you, I believe I have the footage from the state where they're saying in the state they do the death penalty. And they are, it sounds like, planning to operate that. And I heard, unconfirmed, unverified, that Donald Trump is issuing a statement saying that whoever did this, they should receive the death penalty. Let me know if you agree. If so, drop a 47 in the comments. But let's take a look at this. As the FBI releases images of a person of interest in the killing of Charlie Kirk, let's bring you some of the details authorities shared in a news conference earlier today. And I see that there is a new update. We'll look at that here in just a second. Officials said they were confident in our abilities to track the shooter, that they had good video footage of the suspect. So we're going to be seeing this released. They have just released the photos. They've also, they have obtained the weapon, as well as locating a high-powered rifle. Officials said that they had also found a footwear impression, a palm print, and a forearm imprint, which are being analyzed. So they have a lot of information on this individual. They're going to find him. They also said they had tracked the shooter's movements directly before and after the shooting. Earlier, investigators said they were working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. And if they are unsuccessful, they will then share images publicly with the media to help identify them, as they're saying they are on the way to tracking him down. The officials said they had already visited the neighborhoods where the shooter is believed to have fled through, contacting witnesses and people with doorbell cameras. Now, let's see here. There was an update that just came in. Let's see here. The latest images from the site shooting. Okay, so it's just more images of the location of the shooting. Officials analyzed palm and forearm prints in the Kirk investigation. A recap. So that's what we just read. Okay, so here are the images of the individual you can see right here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage that's been pouring in, and I'm going to try to get you the most recent right now so that way you can see it for yourself. So let's go ahead and dive into the footage and take a look at what they are saying regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
You say he was college age. Do you believe he was from this university? And how far do you think he may have gone in this time span?
So I can't comment specifically on his face or any details such as that, as it's continuing to be a part of the investigation, and again, we'll release that shortly. However, we're doing everything we can to find him, and we're not sure how far he has gone yet, but we will do our best.
But you have a clear image of his face?
We have images of the suspect.
So, did you trace the gun's owner?
That you've been able to recover, do you believe you know this person is the person that you're looking for at this point?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not releasing any details such as that right now.
Fingerprints or DNA?
We are exhausting all of our resources to be able to collect those, but that's, again, part of the investigation.
Have you been able to trace back the owner of the gun?
Excuse me?
You said you found the weapon. Have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon or who purchased it?
We are working on that, but again, part of the investigation that I can't release.
Agent Bowles, has been a lot of turnover in the FBI. Do you think that's impacting the investigation?
Not at all. We've got complete and total support from everyone from the director on down, and it's been an incredible supportive environment so far.
Last week, everyone yesterday's news window where we announced the suspect was
All I can say is that we're working the investigation the best we have with the environment we're given. So,
Those
thank
are all
you.
the questions for right now. Thank you, everybody.
So the headline came at the end there, Dana. We have images of the suspect. That after they gave us a number of details that we were not privy to prior. So they say a number of individuals questioned, they've been released, they asked for privacy for them. At 11:52 a.m. Utah time, they tracked the suspect to that building. They later, after the shooting, tracked him jumping off the building, fleeing into a neighborhood. And they're asking neighbors in that area if they have doorbell cameras to turn over anything that may produce an image. What they didn't say is whether or not he ran there on foot or drove a car. But later they said, we do have good video of this individual. We are confident in our abilities. And with regard to that, they say they have footwear prints. So perhaps he was on foot, and also palm prints. And they asked for any video and images tipped to the website there. This is a bolt-action rifle. It is manually operated. It is extremely accurate. And according to a lot of gun experts, it has fewer moving parts, which would give the killer an opportunity to take a more accurate shot. And based on the graphic images that the world saw yesterday afternoon, that shot was a kill shot. It took one, and Charlie Kirk barely had a chance of survival.
I think it was a good idea for them to give this update this morning at the time that they did. Remember, so it's 9:27 a.m. Eastern time. It's 2 hours behind in Utah, and that's Mountain Time, 7:27 a.m. And I think if you see what they were able to do, they provided us the information that they could. And I think the reporters were asking very good questions, and the investigators are saying, we cannot answer those right now because we're in the middle of the investigation. And one of those questions was, since you recovered the weapon, have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon? Yeah. And the investigator very clearly said, not able to talk about that right now. So that's obviously either in question or they know it. And
they will need the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk for more evidence too. Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, Trey Gowdy, host of Sunday Night in America, and Trey is a prosecutor and Robin as an investigator with the FBI. Tell us what you think about what we just heard there in Orem, Utah.
Yeah, what we're hearing is a lot of good data.
To make an arrest.
I'm sorry, Robin, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, it's a lot of good data that we're getting out of this. And at the early onset, people were thinking this was a professional hit, and professional had a different connotation to me. I thought it was a skilled shot, but professionals don't do this. And so luckily, he's made a lot of missteps. And as indicated in his press conference, he left a data trail of evidence that they're able to zero in on him pretty quickly, I think.
What do you say? Professionals don't do this. Take that further. What do you mean?
Yeah, so professionals, if this individual was actually truly trying to just kill Charlie Kirk, this is not the way to do it, because this is in a public venue, leaving a lot of footprints on the ground, leaving a weapon in the woods, not having a clear escape plan, which people thought he did. And so that's not a professional level like at the higher levels that you're kind of thinking like in the movies. This is a skilled shot, but an unskilled individual at being an assassin.
Trey Gowdy, you listened to that press conference as well, and you've heard Robin's thoughts. As somebody who used to prosecute crimes after the investigation, what other questions would you have right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the police did the right thing. They give no information to jeopardize the ultimate goal, which is a conviction. I mean, you have to make the arrest, but the ultimate goal is for this person to be convicted. So you got to be careful what you release. What the police essentially want is give us all the video you may have, give us any tip any tip that you may have. I think images of the suspect are not the same as images of the face of the suspect. And prints are only good if you have someone to compare them or match them with. I think they are going to apprehend the killer, but the goal, again, Dana, is to get a conviction. It is not simply to generate a headline or have a good press conference. This ends in front of a jury or with a guilty plea. The only other thing I would add, Dana, is as painful as it is, people have to watch the video from yesterday. And while they're watching it, and they're going to want to turn their heads away, but you need to imagine this as a husband and a father and a friend, not someone politically that you may happen to disagree with. This video is so jarring to watch. The problem is it really happened. And it happened in the greatest country in the world. And so we got to have a conversation about how much of this we're willing to put up with. So watch what happened to him. He is killed in an instant. In an instant, from 200 yards. For what reason? Because you happen to disagree with his political beliefs?
Mm-hmm. If you're not using AI in your content workflow, I genuinely don't know what you're doing. Like, why are you...
Make yourself watch it. And realize this is a husband and a father, not just some political person with whom you may happen to disagree.
Trey, stand by one moment. Robin, I'm going to get your reaction on two things that we just heard here. Let's play the soundbite of the suspect's movements first. Let's listen here.
We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We had tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Okay, Robin, go ahead, take us through this now. You would assume that if you had a phone, which I'm not quite sure they did, that you would be able to do that quite easily. But it sounds to me like there were cameras that were able to track him. What do you take from it, Robin?
Yeah, I think what they did was they were able to kind of zero in right away on where the shooter came from, where the bullet came from, because they released that right away. So they're able to get cameras on him in that location because campuses have a lot of cameras. Plus, you had 3,000 people with cell phones. And so from that, they're able to backtrack the timeline to actually follow, because once they have an image of an individual, you now have a body language demeanor that he's giving off of a baseline of what you're looking for in that crowd, especially since he stood out with what he was wearing, all black. And so they're just backing up that timeline, and then they're advancing that timeline so they can track those movements. And so when they say they don't have an image of the face, they don't really need that image of the face yet because they have the body language of the individual. It's going to be very telling over time.
Okay, now you said the video. Okay, that's the next soundbite. We'll let you analyze this too. Watch here from the FBI.
Sure.
We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We're working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
Hey, Rob, I'm reading between the lines here. I don't believe they've got a name. Is that accurate, do you believe?
I believe that's probably accurate right now, but I think they're going to get that pretty rapidly. There's two things here. One, you have the videos of the individual that they can backtrack and do a match on and see those egress and ingress points. That's why they're seeking more people with videos of him to see if you can track him to a car, license plate, and also start doing triangulation, which is going to take a little time of cell phone data. The other thing with the weapon that they have, the likelihood of them having DNA is very, very high. Let's just look at the Koberger case. They are able to use trace DNA to actually do a genealogy search. It takes a little bit of time, but this is with family members that didn't even put themselves into the genealogy system. So I think they're coming at it from two angles. And we're coming at it from the technology of looking cell phone tracking data for this area. That's something that's going to stand out so they can rule out people that actually live in that area since you flew into the woods, possibly vehicle traffic as well as DNA traffic. And so what they're looking for is they're going to have it. They just don't have it quite yet.
Trey, we're coming up on another moment of silence at 9:37, and I wonder, if you could take a moment to just talk about this moment that we are in nationally from a perspective that you always so wisely provide.
Orthodoxy, and as we've had events since then, whether it's the shooting of Abby Giffords, whether it's the shooting of Stevie Scalise, the shooting of President Trump, those periods of unity have begun to shrink. And no, I mean, it hadn't been a couple of hours since Charlie Kirk was killed before we had like a zoo-like atmosphere on the floor of the House of Representatives, which is supposed to be the people's house. So I actually think the American people are more unified than those that we send to represent us. So the representatives need to really reflect the American people. 90% of the American people would never do what happened to Charlie Kirk, would never shoot Gabby Giffords. And by the way, a child was also killed when she was shot, would never shoot at Stevie Scalise. We got to do a better job of identifying and silencing and separating that 10% from the rest of us. But look, our memories are so short, Dana. I mean, they were long after 9/11. It was weeks and months of unity. And it hadn't been 24 hours before we had begun to politicize the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Forget about the politics. That's why I want you to look at the video. This was a husband and a father and a friend that was shot through the throat because of political beliefs. I mean, surely to God, this country can do better than that.
No doubt.
Trey, thank you. Robin Dreek, thank you so much.
There you have it, you guys. Now, I'm going to play for you some video footage that was just released. And in this video footage, they are going to show the photos, as I shared with you from the article, of this individual. Now, in addition to that, let me know if you saw this or not. We are hearing that yesterday there was supposed to be a moment of silence.
Take a look.
And that moment of silence was disrupted in the House of Representatives. It erupted into chaos. It was supposed to be a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk and his passing, as Democrats and Republicans begin to fight on the floor during the moment of silence. Let me know in the comments. Did you see this? Did you hear this? If so, put yes. If no, put no. Let me just show this to you really quick before we dive into the video footage so you can see. Watch Democrats and Republicans clash on the House floor following a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. It got so political they couldn't even hold a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Now also you can see the breaking news live coverage of the manhunt that is underway for Charlie Kirk's assassin as the nation reflects on 9/11 attacks. Now the subtitle here, coming out yesterday evening, Republicans and Democrats jeered at each other after lawmakers requested prayer be said out loud for the slain conservative Charlie Kirk. And here you can see in the House, and if I play for you the footage, they are just going back and forth in what was supposed to be a moment of silence. You have Speaker of the House Mike Johnson hammering the gavel, saying the House will be in order. A moment of silence for Charlie Kirk on the House floor Wednesday devolved into a shouting match after a Republican representative demanded that a prayer be said out loud for the conservative who was shot earlier in the day. So wow, just absolutely disturbing the way that our U.S. politics are right now. Now let's go ahead and take a look, as I mentioned, at some of the photos. Now here's some of the articles that are coming out. You can see they've released the photos of the shooter, and there's video footage. They said they believe they're going to track this individual down. They know who he is. But let's also now take a look at some video footage of this so you can see it for yourself here. This just coming out 37 minutes ago from Live Now with Fox. Let's take a look at what they've got to say.
Take a look at your screen. These are two of the photos that the FBI Salt Lake City just released. They say, we're asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. So the FBI just releasing moments ago photos of who they're calling a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder. You can see both of those different angles of this person of interest right here. We were hearing initially that the person of interest they were looking for was wearing all black, and now we can see from these photos this person of interest wearing a black hat, a baseball cap, with their eyes shielded with dark sunglasses and dark attire right here. So they're asking, for the public's help in identifying this person of interest. They're asking anyone to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. This as they continue their search for the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk yesterday as he was speaking at Utah Valley University. And we continue to get more information. This just in, though, as the FBI has released these 2 photos, and it does appear that these are surveillance photos of a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder. I also wanted to share this. This is just an additional post that they were sharing via the social media platform X, saying we are asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Now, earlier, we were also hearing additional information from Fox News indicating that sources are telling Fox News messages were found written on the gun and ammunition used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We were hearing from the FBI earlier this morning with additional information as they had retrieved and found a high-powered bolt action rifle, they say, was connected with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I also wanted to share this live look with you. This is from the campus of the university right here. This is the scene where all of this unfolded yesterday. So new information today coming from the FBI is that a rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI laboratory right now analyzing that weapon. Investigators also collecting footwear impressions, a palm print, and forearm imprints, and they're running that through analysis. The FBI says as of this hour, they have received more than 130 tips, and now they're asking for the public's help in finding the person of interest they say is connected with this case. Another look right here of these surveillance photos. As you can see, 2 different angles. So if you do know this person, you are asked to call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, the FBI did give an update that was about 12 minutes in length earlier today, and we're going to continue to monitor as they do share more information on perhaps an hourly basis, and we perhaps might be hearing a little bit more from them later on today. We're going to be bringing you all of these updates as they happen, as we are anticipating perhaps more information. We did want to share these surveillance photos with you, just coming from the FBI in Salt Lake City. This is the person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder. Take a look.
There you have it, you guys. Now, so these are the photos of the person of interest that yesterday assassinated Charlie Kirk. And now, as we mentioned, they've recovered a rifle. They've got footage. Let me know, have you seen the footage? A lot of it has been circulating around X. There's actually individuals that captured video footage of they saw an individual in all black on a rooftop. And they said that this person was laying down. Now we've got, actually, the FBI says a lot of footage of him going into the building, climbing onto the roof, positioning himself, leaving the building, jumping off, running into a neighborhood, and the search is on. And they're only releasing little bits of information as they go. They said they don't want to compromise their search, the manhunt, at this time. But as you can see here, they have details on this person. They're going to find him, and we're hearing that there is the state and even speculation Donald Trump saying the death penalty needs to be put into place here. If you agree, put yes. If you don't, put no. Let me know your thoughts. But they're saying no trial, none of that, just death penalty. Just have this person executed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, also, let me go ahead and share with you more information coming out here. Like I said, there's a lot of updates coming out on the person of interest, on the weapons, and what the FBI is releasing. So let's go ahead and play some more for you. Now, I believe this particular person says that this is a professional hit. This is an ex-FBI agent. However, we just heard them say they don't believe it was now. The reason for that is because they said he has left footprints, fingerprints, palm prints. They found the gun. They said the way that they have uncovered things, they don't believe that this was a professional hit. But let's take a look at this coming out just in the past couple of hours. More information coming out about the Charlie Kirk assassination yesterday.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do know dressed in all dark clothing.
Where the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair roof. Potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
This is a Fox News alert. Right now, a frantic manhunt to find the assassin who killed Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah yesterday. 2 people were detained, but then they were ultimately released.
Former FBI agent Stuart Kaplan joins us now. Stuart, what can you tell us? This is what they told us. No mention of what the person was, who he is, or she is. Long rifle, perched atop a building east on the school's library. Person wearing jeans, a black vest, a black mask. That's all we know.
Yeah, law enforcement is quite frankly scrambling right now to work backwards and try to identify first how this person gained access onto that rooftop. But what they do know, and I think their biggest concern, is this was a targeted attack. The target was Charlie Kirk. This same individual had the opportunity to inflict other mass casualties, but this person chose to maintain his or her discipline. They got up, they took the shot, and then they got out of there. That indicates that there was a survey prior to yesterday where this individual had the lay of the land to understand how to get onto this rooftop and then how to very quietly escape undetected at this point. That is a very difficult task for the FBI and other law enforcement partners to work through to try to get some indication of who this person may be.
Stuart, we all want this person to be caught. What is the FBI looking for? Because all we're hearing, like Brian said, person dressed in black. That's like every person.
Well, there's a lot of information that I'm sure that the FBI has. For way of example, we don't know whether or not the shooter left the weapon behind. We don't know whether or not a shell casing, the one bullet was discharged from the rifle. Was it a bolt action? If it was a bolt action, that means someone manually would have to discharge or eject that shell casing. Did they collect the shell casing? Have they sent it for fingerprint analysis or DNA analysis? Now, that can be turned around in a very short period of time. That hasn't been disclosed to us with respect to the weapon, the shell casing, and of course today you're going to see an attempt to try to locate the bullet itself, because the bullet obviously went through Charlie Kirk. It has to end up impaled somewhere. They're going to try to locate that. They're going to try to work backwards. You're going to see them out on this venue with lasers to try to set up some sort of forensic trajectory to see exactly how this person was perched and try to then identify a profile. Was there any active threat against Charlie Kirk that, quite frankly, is not known to the public, and try to nail down if there are individuals that may be out there that they're aware of.
Stuart, give me an idea of the level of skill a sniper had to have to be able to pull off that shot.
Well, like I said, when you take a look at the altitude or the elevation of the way Charlie Kirk was seated, he had a tent over him. And so when you back up, let's say 450 feet, 500 feet, 600 feet, that shot becomes more and more difficult because you're looking down at that target. That is why I believe it wasn't quote unquote a headshot. It was taken at the upper torso because the line of sight only exposed Charlie Kirk's upper torso area or the neck area. I think if the tent wasn't concealing Charlie Kirk's head, quite frankly, you would have seen this as a headshot. There is a degree of expertise. There is no doubt in my mind this person is to some extent a professional. This was a professional hit by all accounts, especially by the fact that he had an opportunity to discharge that weapon multiple times randomly, but he chose to stay on target.
Stuart, how confident are you that they'll catch him?
Well, let me tell you, the men and women of the FBI with their counterparts are the best in the world. I can tell you, with having Kash Patel at the helm, the FBI, and I've spoken to several agents that are now on their way to Utah, you have the best of the best in the world on this planet who are going to work 24 hours a day. They're going to find this guy. The biggest concern is this individual has shown that he is not willing to engage law enforcement. He doesn't want to be apprehended. He doesn't want to be engaged in a shootout. This is a very, very dangerous individual. The threat level to public figures, to include the president, as high as that threat level is, has been elevated exponentially since yesterday.
Stuart, you know, at first I thought, why would he wear black? Look at the buildings. But then I realized the roof is black, all right? And we have footage, at some point we'll show it, of a guy walking around. We don't know if it's him. And we have a person commentating saying, what's that guy doing up there? And the other question would be, you got a black mask, you got a black vest, you need ammo, you have a rifle. Are there rifles, sniper rifles, high-level sniper rifles, that could separate, like a pool stick, and be able to put maybe into a vest pocket so you can walk out of a place without saying, who's that guy with the gun?
No question about it. You know, there are weapons that you can disassemble within seconds. And certainly, again, someone would have the proficiency to be able to do that. Keep in mindset to then disassemble that weapon in a very short time span, put it in a bag, and extricate them off that rooftop. That is why, quite frankly, that weapon may have been left behind. We just don't know that. The FBI may be sitting on that information. They just don't want to publicly make that available to us. But again, it's more consistent with the proficiency and the expertise of this shooter.
Stuart, excellent job. Thank you for your service over the years, and thanks for coming on and waking up this early. We appreciate it. If you have any information, if you have photos, if you have video, if you were there on the scene, if you have even just one small tip could help, call the FBI or go to tips.fbi.gov/digital media and then scroll to the bottom of the page. You can see it right there on your screen.
I'm Steve.
There you have it, you guys. So they are saying that if you have any information, to contact them right here. This is the images of the individual that we saw released by the FBI just a little while ago. They are saying they have more images. They've got video footage. They have the gun. They have a lot of information that is rolling out. And they're saying they're going to find this person. And as I mentioned, the state, and we're also hearing from Donald Trump, is saying there's no need for a trial. Once we have confirmed and found this individual, we need to apply the death penalty. Let me know. Do you agree? If so, drop a 47 in the comments. Now, we're going to see where we go from here as more information rolls out. I'll be sure to share, but let's take a look at this also being released here today. Now, there's been a lot of information unfolding. I believe that what they're finding here, they're saying they're tracking all of his steps, that they're going to find this individual. Do you think so? Do you think they're going to find him? If so, put yes. If no, put no. But now it looks like they're releasing the footage. They're following his tracks. They're going into the neighborhood where he was at. It looks like they are going to find this individual. So I'll keep you up to date on this. But let's go ahead and take a look at more footage so you can see it. There is a lot coming out on this.
Last night I communicated with Erica. The family's devastated. As a commissioner of public safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen this state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie, of a neighboring feel. We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead. We have every officer invested in this, every investigator, every local agency. The outpouring of support from the law enforcement community has been astounding. We are investing everything we have into this, and we will catch this individual. Having walked through the crime scene, through the hallways of this school, through the classrooms, I can't imagine what the people on scene felt as well. A horrific event where some of them barricaded in classrooms, some of them ran in fear. Can't overstate the tragedy and the horrific event that yesterday was, and how we will work to bring to justice the actions of one individual or any other individuals that assisted in that. Our state has gone through a lot, and we will come out successful. With that, I'll turn the time over to
Special Agent Bowles in charge.
Good morning. My name is Robert Bowles, and I am the Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake Field Office. Following yesterday's tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, FBI agents have been working around the clock in coordination with our law enforcement partners. We are and will continue to work nonstop until we find the person that has committed this heinous crime and find out why they did it. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation. The FBI's mission is to protect the American people. It's to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him. We also continue to grieve with the family and the community. It's our community. If you have any video or images from the shooting, we ask you to please submit them to our digital media tip website at www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting. You can also call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We truly rely on the public's help in these types of cases, and no tip is too small or insignificant. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what I'll release about the suspect is suspect blended in well with a college institution. And we're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon. But right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, we will reach out for the public's help and the media's help in pushing those photos. That was a new development overnight, working through the night, studying those cameras. So that's something that's new and that we're working through right now. As far as the security, I cannot speak to that. Neither the Department of Public Safety nor the Federal Bureau of Investigation was involved in the planning or security of this event, and that'll have to be a question later for other agencies.
So that's a good question, and it's a question that goes to the safety of the community, right? No, not in those woods. We've walked through those woods and secured it. As to the community, I can tell you that this was a targeted event. We don't believe that the community is at risk. However, we are exhausting every resource to find him, and we will do so.
Special Agent Bowles, with the BDC, from the images you have, can you see clearly the suspect's face? You say he was college age, you believe he was from this university, and how far do you think he may have gone in this time?
So I can't comment specifically on his face or any details such as that, as it's continuing to be a part of the investigation, and again, we'll release that shortly. However, we're doing everything we can to find him, and we're not sure how far he has gone yet, but we will do our best. We have images of the suspect.
So between these images and now that you've been able to recover, do you believe you know this person is the person that you're looking for?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not releasing any details such as that right now. We are exhausting all of our resources to be able to collect those, but that's, again, part of the investigation.
Have you found the owner of the gun?
Excuse me?
You said you found the weapon. Have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon or persistent?
We are working on that, but again, part of the investigation that I can't release. Not at all. We've got complete and total support from everyone from the director on down, and it's been an incredible supportive environment so far.
All right, you guys, so some new footage. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here. Just released from Fox. Just a second.
No offense, but if you're
going to be information here, they're saying, on the shooter. And again, we have video footage that is being released, and also, photos that are being released of the shooter by the FBI. And they're saying that they have the weapon recovered. They have a lot of detailed information now on this person. And it's just a matter of time before they track him down. And they are also offering rewards. So before I play this footage here really quick, also wanted to share with you an update from the live feeds on this article here. Take a look at this coming out from the New York Times. It says FBI releases images of a person of interest in the Kirk killing, and I'm going to share with you those. You've seen them. New updates coming out. Officials said they found a rifle near Utah University campus where the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot. The unidentified gunman is still at large amid speculation about what motivated the killing. Now, we're also hearing that there was things written on the bullet and on the gun. Let's take a look here and see what we've got. Investigators eye a hunting rifle for clues to the gunman's identity and motive, coming out just 3 minutes ago. It says here, an unverified report circulated inside of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives found the ammunition recovered with a rifle used to kill Charlie Kirk appeared to be engraved with a statement expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideologies. So they are speculating the motivation there, as they're saying that was written on it. A senior law enforcement official with the direct knowledge of the investigation cautioned that the report had not been verified by the ATF analysts, did not match other summaries of the evidence, and might turn out to have been misread or misinterpreted. In fast-moving investigations, such status reports are not made public because they often contain a mixture of accurate and inaccurate information. An older model Mauser 30-06 caliber high-powered bolt-action rifle was recovered in a wooded area just off of the college campus in Utah where Mr. Kirk was shot, according to the 5 federal law enforcement officials, based on the preliminary internal assessment. Several cartridges, including what appeared to be a spent round in rifles chambers, were recovered. The weapon and ammunition are being traced by the ATF analysts in West Virginia, but the evidence has not yet led to a person of interest, the law enforcement officials have said. On Thursday morning, investigators in Utah expressed confidence that a combination of forensic evidence from the scene and video from the university and nearby homes would soon allow them to determine the gunman's identity. By the afternoon, the FBI had posted an image of the person the Bureau is seeking. I'm going to share that with you here in a second. More video footage just being released moments ago. The person was captured on a security camera on a flight of stairs and was wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap. The image was somewhat blurry. The FBI's request for help suggests that the image of the person was not clear enough to create a quick match via facial recognition software. And here you can see a breakdown. Salt Lake City, Utah Valley University. Lucy Center, a video showed a person on a roof before the shooting about 430 feet away. And over here is where Charlie Kirk was shot. So he was on this building, shot him over here where he was underneath that tent. 19 minutes ago, the FBI is offering an award of up to $100,000 for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person who shot and killed the conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The announcement of the award came shortly after the Bureau published 2 images from a security camera of a person in sunglasses and a black cap whom agents were seeking to question in connection with the shooting. 46 minutes ago, the FBI releases these two images of the person of interest in the Kirk investigation. The FBI on Thursday released two images of a person the agency is seeking in the investigation of the killing of the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, an indication that efforts to identify the person through facial recognition technology did not work and that the officials now need the public's help. The grainy images of what the FBI described as a person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk show a man wearing a baseball cap, dark sunglasses, and a dark long-sleeve shirt with an image on it that appears to include, in part, a picture of the American flag. The second image appears to show the same person walking alongside a wall. In one of the photographs, the person appears to be walking up a stairwell. The police said earlier that they had video of a person they were seeking who had walked up a stairwell to a rooftop from where the gunshot was fired. Mr. Kirk was killed by a single gunshot fired from an elevated position as he spoke to a large crowd out in outdoor space on Wednesday, the police said. Trump said that he will award Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So there you have it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage just released moments ago. This coming out from Fox. Let's take a look here. This coming out 9 minutes ago.
Well, from reports and particularly our own correspondents, things are tightening around the man who they think is the assassin. They are trying to catch him for killing conservative icon Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah yesterday. It's not still been 24 hours, and the FBI is moving quickly now with some details and evidence that they've picked up in the last hour or so. And it's revealing this morning that images of the shooter exist, and you can see those images on your screen right now. If anyone has any information on this person of interest, please contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll get that up on all of our social platforms immediately. Authorities are saying they have been able to track the suspect's movements and have recovered the high-power rifle officials say they believe the shooter used in the attack. The FBI is confident it will be able to catch this person. Sources close to Fox News also confirm investigators are looking into what appears to be messages that are written both on the gun and the shell casings recovered by authorities just in the last 35 minutes or so. Bill Maluzhin has that part of our story. The content of those messages, though, is still unclear. At least they have not revealed them to us in the wider media. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts, Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, Lara Trump, host of My View with Lara Trump, and Lawrence Jones, co-host of Fox and Friends. First, let's go to CB Cotton and get the very latest at Utah Valley University. CB.
Hi, Harris. Well, multiple sources have told Fox News about the messages that appear to be left behind on both the ammunition and firearm recovered from the scene of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So far, the FBI, as you mentioned, has declined to comment on this, but what the agency is saying.
All right, sorry about that. I realized I was playing it for myself and didn't switch it over for everybody else. So I'm going to start this over from the beginning so that way everyone can see it. Don't think that you guys caught the first part of the video.
Well, from reports and particularly our own correspondents, things are tightening around the man who they think is the assassin. They are trying to catch him for killing conservative icon Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah yesterday. It's not still been 24 hours, and the FBI is moving quickly now with some details and evidence that they've picked up in the last hour or so. And it's revealing this morning that images of the shooter exist, and you can see those images on your screen right now. If anyone has any information on this person of interest, please contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll get that up on all of our social platforms immediately. Authorities are saying they have been able to track the suspect's movements and have recovered the high-power rifle officials say they believe the shooter used in the attack. The FBI is confident it will be able to catch this person. Sources close to Fox News also confirm investigators are looking into what appears to be messages that are written both on the gun and the shell casings recovered by authorities just in the last 35 minutes or so. Bill Maluzhin has that part of our story. The content of those messages, though, is still unclear. At least they have not revealed them to us in the wider media. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts, Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, Lara Trump, host of My View with Lara Trump, and Lawrence Jones, co-host of Fox and Friends. First, let's go to CB Cotton and get the very latest at Utah Valley University. CB.
Hi, Harris. Well, multiple sources have told Fox News about the messages that appear to be left behind on both the ammunition and firearm recovered from the scene of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So far, the FBI, as you mentioned, has declined to comment on this, but what the agency is saying is that they've got lots of good video of the killer's path on this campus.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time.
Agents say the shooter got on campus less than an hour before assassinating 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, who was visiting Utah Valley University in Orem, which is about an hour away from Salt Lake City. The FBI says the gunman blended in well on campus and appears to be college-aged. Agents say he wore all-black tactical gear as he fired off the fatal shot from about 200 yards away towards the stage, where Kirk had just started answering a question from someone in the crowd. After the shooting, the suspect ran off into a neighborhood, according to FBI agents who say they found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area. Other clues were also left behind.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
The FBI is also asking for anyone with photos or videos to please share those with the agency. And moments ago, the FBI also released a new photo saying this could be a person of interest in this case. I know our show producers are going to work diligently to share that image with our viewers. Harris, back over to you.
Yeah, and we are putting up that image of the person of interest, CB, right now, and we will continue to do that. They are looking for the public's help now. They have obviously tighten their net around this suspect, and the public can be of immediate help just in cutting the timeline. They are going to get this guy. 800 call FBI, and the image that you want to keep, that we'll keep up on the screen as long as possible, is there too. We're also, and I'm kind of saying this to you, but also asking our team wider who's listening to flood our social media with this. All platforms for Outnumbered right now as well. Lawrence, well, none of us slept last night, but you were up on the air earlier than anybody here on the couch. And this day has gone rapidly different than maybe some people had thought. And it's in a very good way. We're getting more information. We might be close to getting the suspected assassin.
Well, earlier this morning, there was a lot of trepidation for me, particular, even though a lot of people that I know and love and respect work at the FBI, that we hadn't got a photo. Because that's the first step right here in justice, is identifying who this person is so they can stand trial before the peers of this country with a jury. And now we have that photo. Our imagination based on the person who they targeted, Charlie Kirk, and since he was given a political speech, and since they didn't fire at the crowd, but they fired directly at his head, we knew it was political. Now we got the shell casings and other ammo that have political messages there. So we're getting closer and closer. I just hope that we're all zooming in, all law enforcement. You got to get this guy. Charlie was a representation of a movement of young people in America. And I don't care if you agree with his politics or not. We can't have that in this country.
You know, part of the excitement, too, around Charlie, and I was sharing last hour, in the state of Arizona, he was being talked about in circles of people who were decades older than he. Can't wait till he becomes governor. Like, people saw the trajectory of this young man. But part of the conversation was, could he bring the youth vote? Because young people may get activated and motivated, but until they go to the polls, that's the big difference. And he apparently could do that.
Yeah, he did do that. I'll tell you, as the former RNC co-chair, we worked very closely with Turning Point USA. What Charlie was able to do is really miraculous. When you think about the fact that he didn't finish college, he dropped out of college, yet his goal was to mobilize these students, to really change the tenor on college campuses, and he was able to do that. We saw a huge shift in young voters this election in particular, especially with young men. Charlie played such a huge role in that. I don't think you can ever overstate it. I said this last night on Jesse's show, but I believe that Donald Trump probably wouldn't be president right now without the assistance of Charlie Kirk. What he has done and his legacy, I think, is even too big to comprehend right now. The void and the hole that will be left is enormous. And I'm just hopeful, as someone who cares about, this country and the forward progress of this country, that someone is able to pick up where Charlie left off. Turning Point USA is such an important organization. I'm personally very grateful for everything he did, all the work he did. And you can't go to one of those events without palpably taking in how impactful Charlie Kirk was.
Yeah, I want to get your response in part to what Lara's saying, because what she's talking about is more than a movement. It's a complete political shift. If you get a whole new generation of voters who have the kind of bravery to speak out that he embodied.
Yeah, Lara saw it firsthand at the RNC. I saw the data online today. A 44-point shift in Gen Z men over 2 years. How did that happen? Charlie Kirk. That happened because of Charlie Kirk. And when I look at that image on the screen, I know we have to show it. I know how important that is for law enforcement purposes, but I have rage in my soul when I see that individual. And I want to tell that person, and I hope someone does convey this to this person someday, somehow. Charlie had a light in him, a special light. And you might have thought you extinguished that light, but boy, did you not extinguish that light. You set a raging fire that is here to stay, and it is a fire that is going across the world when you took that young man's life. I just want to share quickly some texts I got, because I've already shared my personal history with Charlie. These are texts I got from people who didn't know Charlie. One mom said, back to school night last night, was shocked and upset. He promoted free speech. He listened respectfully to dissenters. A mom from across the nation sent another text. I would find clips. I'd show them to my 3 sons. They would almost debate Charlie back. I was teaching them to have civil discourse. A father, I did not realize what voice he had with my kids and young people. Jim Jordan called me last night. He said his grandchildren say he is the Rush Limbaugh of their generation. And Chip Roy this morning shared with me a Bible verse his son sent him. And I think this is just sums up Charlie and sums up this moment. 1 Corinthians 15:58. He said this, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Charlie's labor was not in vain, and you on the other side of the screen, you lit a raging fire.
A Christian believer, an angel among us versus the devil. It is a spiritual warfare right now. Let's hear from Charlie Kirk a little bit. Let's watch.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
Such an incredible legacy that he himself said he wants to be remembered for his courage of faith. And that's all wrapped up with him unequivocally and at every opportunity advocating for peace and the civil discourse. 4 years ago, someone asked about if political violence was ever justified. And he said, it is incumbent upon us to exhaust all peaceful options. And there was a figure larger than life that represented so much, saying, I've got death threats. I've been assaulted in public. It is heartbreaking that there was a success to one of those measures. That bullet did not just take Charlie Kirk's life. It pierced a movement. And I thought the same thing, Laura. I wondered, in this huge void, in this larger-than-life shoes to fill, who will step up? And then I realized, but Charlie's legacy is empowering these millions of Americans that have been empowered with charged with and inspired by the concept that civil discourse and engaging, thoughtful listening and simply robust debate is the way to move forward because we are all Americans at one time. And what breaks my heart in this moment is the loss for this nation, the trajectory he was on, and also that he did everything right. He did everything right, which was to espouse the benefits of peaceful, robust discourse. He was doing it all right. Even his fiercest critics applauded him for doing that, and yet he paid the ultimate price for it.
Well, again, we need your help. The FBI is trying to identify the whereabouts of this person of interest. So please look at your screen right now. And again, we are putting this across all of our social platforms. So even during the commercial, check it out. Authorities say this guy is connected to the Charlie Kirk assassination. The FBI tip line now, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Tributes from both sides of the political aisle actually are coming in now for Charlie Kirk as we remember his impact across the globe.
To all the Gen Zers watching this convention on TikTok right now, I have a message just for you. We're going to choose success. We're going to choose to put the future of Americans first. We together are going to do the work to save America.
The leads are broke. You just...
There you have it, you guys. So that is the latest that's coming out on it. If you have any information, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, as more comes out, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. Subscribe to stay up to date. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.